The Watcher in the Window. Late one foggy night in a small town nestled deep within the woods, a young woman named Emily was alone in her house. The night was quiet, with only the occasional hoot of an owl breaking the silence. Emily sat on her couch, the flickering light from the TV the only source of illumination in the room. She'd always loved her old creaky house. Its charm lay in the wooden floors that groaned with each step and the large windows that let in the moonlight. But tonight the house felt different, unsettling, as if it were watching her. As the night wore on, a strange feeling crept over Emily. She felt as though someone was watching her. She dismissed the thought at first, chalking it up to her overactive imagination. But the feeling persisted, growing stronger by the minute. Finally, unable to shake the unease, Emily glanced around the room. Her eyes were drawn to the large window facing the woods. The fog was thick, swirling around the trees like ghostly fingers. But as she stared, something caught her eye. A dark shape standing just beyond the tree line. It was tall, its figure blurred by the fog, but unmistakably human. Emily's heart began to race. She squinted, trying to make out more details, but the figure remained a shadow in the mist. She told herself it was just someone walking through the woods, nothing more. But the figure didn't move. It stood there motionless, watching. Emily's breath hitched. She turned off the TV, plunging the room into darkness, save for the pale moonlight streaming through the window. Her heart pounded in her chest as she cautiously approached the window, trying to get a closer look. The figure was gone. Relief washed over her, and she let out a shaky laugh. She was being ridiculous, scaring herself over nothing. But as she turned away from the window, she heard it, a faint tapping on the glass. She froze. The tapping was soft, almost hesitant, as if someone were trying to get her attention. Slowly, she turned back to the window. Her blood ran cold. The figure was standing right outside the window now, its face pressed against the glass. Its features were obscured, but she could see its eyes, dark, hollow pits staring directly at her. Emily stumbled back, her mind racing. She fumbled for her phone, her hands trembling as she tried to dial 911. But the phone slipped from her grasp, clattering to the floor. The tapping grew louder, more insistent. Emily's breath came in shallow gasps as she backed away from the window, her eyes never leaving the figure. She felt the wall behind her and slid down to the floor, paralyzed with fear. The tapping stopped. For a moment, there was silence. Then she heard it, the sound of the front door creaking open. Her heart stopped. She had locked the door. She was sure of it. But now she heard slow, deliberate footsteps making their way down the hallway toward her. The last thing she saw was the shadowy figure stepping into the room, its hollow eyes locked on hers, before everything went dark. The next morning, Emily's house was empty. The door was wide open, the fog still lingering around the trees. But Emily was gone, and no one in the small town ever saw her again. All that was left behind was a single chilling clue, a small hand-shaped smear on the window, right where the figure had been watching.